at 20, I had over $70,000 and I still felt empty. Let me explain. Okay, so I thought money, car, dream car, girlfriend would fulfill me, would complete me as a man. Let me take these off. And what I thought, when I finally got to this goal, I would truly be happy, and I wasn't. And so how it started. So 2 years ago in 23, whenever it just started happening, I started getting to working and everything. I had to start working to help my mom out with bills. She was struggling, and I just graduated high school, and I just had to help her. I'm pretty family oriented, and I just wanted to help her because I love my mom a lot, and I hate to see her struggle. I've always seen her struggle my entire life. And I got my first job, and it was at a warehouse, and I was already working another part-time job, but I wasn't making enough to support her, and I was already paying you basic utilities and stuff, things of that nature, and this was causing a lot of stress on me. So then I decided to make the move to work this full-time warehouse job that my friend allowed me to be able to get hired on the spot like that, because they needed people, and he was making a lot, and I was really thinking about it because it was just I wasn't doing anything anyway. And so I was really scared and thinking about what I should do. And my girlfriend at the time, she really pushed me to really do it, and she supported me. So then I decided to get the job. And so a lot of things happened along the way, right? And so I started working more and more and more. I've always been the type of person to be frugal and just be able to save up. And so once I started seeing progress, I could actually get the car of my dreams. I could actually, get something something crazier than what just I normally had. That consumer mindset that we all have. And I started saving, and then let's just say, and about a couple months in, I got injured. I crushed my ankle, and this was kind of life-changing in a way, because it kind of showed me how important and your your mortality. And so this hurt me a lot, and it hurt me in the way that man. And the sad thing, I wasn't worried about my health. I was worried about other things. I was worried about my money. I was worried because at the time I already saved up over $20,000, and I was just by the end of this year, I thought by the end of the next year, so 1 year later, I would have more than enough to buy my dream car full on. And I wasn't thinking of no regular Camaro SS. I was thinking of just a Z01. And so it killed me, but I overcame it. I only sprained it, and I got through it. And so I went back to work. And so I just kept grinding, saving, being frugal. And I just started becoming slowly detached, obsessed with the goal, obsessed with how much money I was saving, obsessed with things, with, too much of anything is always bad. But my identity, my identity ended up becoming this money, ended up becoming a chase, ended up becoming a lot of things, and I started missing out on a lot of things that are actually super important in life. So a year later, I ended up losing that job. It was 14 months, and then I became super down about it. But I was just I almost gave up on my dream. You chase your dreams, right? And this was one of my big dreams that I thought I could accomplish and really fulfill, because I just really thought I could do it. And so I went from complete cut to this complete cut down of income. And it really sucked. It really humbled me a lot. But even and in 2025, I still got on it. I became more obsessed. I still didn't give up hope, and I got even more jobs. I had multiple jobs at one point, working for 12 to 17 hours, 24-hour shifts. You're like, how is that possible? Because I didn't sleep. I literally went from job to job to job to job. And I was in college still at this time, and I'm just going. Life is snapping every day like that. I ended up losing myself, my identity, and who I was, who I truly am as a man and everything. And so my relationship started to struggle, and I could take part and count in what was wrong with me, you know. That identity and just going back and forth with that, not having any time for myself or giving space, created a bad attachment in me, and it brought out the worst attachment out of me, something I never knew that was deep inside of me that I internally struggled with. And it wasn't her, it wasn't losing her, it was a fear of abandonment. It was an anxious attachment. And so I started subconsciously pushing her away, doing a lot of bad things, you know, a lot of being like toxic in ways of that nature. And so and then after that shortly ended, my car came to me. I literally came to me. And the thing with me that sticks with me is, it's just like God brought it to me. He was like, this is everything you wanted. And it was kind of like a spit in my face. It was like, this is everything. And it's not like he was trying to do that, but he was just giving me the option, giving me the possibility. Like, this is everything you wanted for 2 years, grinding. You put money, you put job, you put this before me, you put this before your girlfriend, you put this before your family, you put this. And this is just one of the things we struggle with as young men early on, because we're on such a grinding phase and such a go mentality that we don't realize what's actually important in our life, because we're so focused. We're so focused on our journey, on our path, on how much money we're making, that we get lost up and lose ourselves. There's a balance with everything. And so I had a decision to make. I was the very first one to get this car. Look at this car. And the car obviously isn't in high demand. Like, you don't see them everywhere. They come and go. It's not made anymore. So I had a decision to, do I really want to go with this? This is what I've been wanting for 2 years, or do I want to pass it up and not let it come by and just let it just go? And I signed the papers. I got it. And whenever I got it, I didn't feel anything. I felt regret. I felt like, what did I just do? It was an emotional reaction. I could look at that. But it was also like telling myself, like, if I don't do something for myself, then how am I ever going to do anything in my life? This is the one decision that I had control over from me. And so it made me arrogant. You know, it made me feel like I was better than my friends for a little bit. And I started, and like for a short while, that's how I was acting with them. But then I got over that, because deep down internally, I was struggling with something much more, something much worse than on the outside. And no one can see that. And so the very first thing when I got in this car and I drove by myself on a weekend, that next day, I just cried. And that's all that would happen for the next weeks, months. I was just crying alone in this car. And that was it. There's nothing else to it. And we can't put it on her because this, and that. It's not about her. It's about something internally struggling, fulfilling. I wasn't fulfilled purposefully. That was more. And so my whole mindset has shifted, has changed. My whole outcome, my whole outlook on life is just different. And I can't even recognize myself back then. And this is a loss of money, equity, stuff. It's not going to turn over. I'm not going to get anything on this, right? but it's not about the money. I'm gonna make more money over the course of my life, right? It's not about the money. It's about the attachment. It's about the emotional. It's about what it means to me. It's the symbolism behind it. And so that's like, that's why I'm not onto this consumer mindset anymore. I'm onto this producer mindset where I want to help more people, and I just want to give you a more outcome look on like what's actually more important in life. I remember things. We're human, we're social, we're emotional. I remember more things about emotional things than what I think like about mind things. What I remember from this car is just crying all the time. I don't really remember anything good. And whenever I'm in it driving, going quick, it gives me a feeling. It gives me that short dopamine. But we forget cars, we forget things, we forget money, we forget those things. But what do we not forget? What's in our brain? Long-term memory, experiences, people, feelings, emotions. These things are much more important than just materialistic things. And I just kind of want to give you that perspective on to not just get so caught up with whatever you're chasing. Now, if you truly, yeah, I can afford it, but can I afford it? There's a difference. And I just want to give you that perspective on just like shifting. You don't need something super nice. A car is just point A to point B. You don't need something to look fancy, to look good for other people. And it's just a lot of the things like guys do subconsciously. This may be a theory or not. We do it for other people. We do it for women. We do it to get more, attract more things. Working out more. Why do you work out more? Because you want to attract more women, And I just want to step away from that mindset right there. It's just memories, experiences are much more important than just materialistic things. And I wouldn't have gone through this, have thought about all of this if I didn't go through it, if I didn't make the purchase, if I didn't feel that. And so that's what it is. I realize I only have this one life, and that I got to do not do everything I can. Discipline, getting money, like love, all these things are super important, but there's a balance with everything. And I just want to tell you, don't get caught up and lose yourself in what you're doing. And how does God step into this? God was the only one there for me. I truly believe. I would get first thing on my knees out of morning, and I just would beg for this pain, this abandonment to go away. This fear, this loss, this deep internal struggle to go away. And that's how I talk about just stop caring, because nobody cares. I promise. And so if that's what you're worried about, man, that's literally, I don't know how to explain it to you. This is internally, this is my mindset, this is in my brain, this is highly configured into me now. I don't want to sound crazy or anything, but it's so true. You don't know how it feels because you've never been through it. And people want to say, they want to talk about money would solve my problems. Money can buy you experience. Money can buy you things that'll make you happy, give you experiences. But if you don't have those people to share those things with, then it doesn't matter. Maybe you wish we could cut off our emotions, stonewall, and just do these things, but it's just, you can't. You can't. You absolutely can't. You might be able to be alone at some point or another. It's gonna truly eat you alive. Solitary confinement is one of the worst punishments ever. It's worse than death, because we're naturally social beings. So don't get caught up in the chase. Don't get caught up in things that can't love you back. Thank you.